Welcome to March Mammal Madness. This is the bracket this year. There's two ways to do the bracket, from your head or from your heart. So you can research and put as much into this as you want, or you can just do it for fun and kind of wing it. Honestly, either is a ton of fun. So, when you're looking at your bracket, there's some things to notice. First of all is where the actual battles happen. So I circled this in red. So this is showing the first battle. It's a pride of lionesses versus a labor of moles. So a group of each of those is going to battle. Sometimes they actually do like duke it out. Other times they kind of see each other and one runs away. It really can go any way. Sometimes there's also outside interventions like human poachers. Once you've decided which you think is going to win the battle, you'll write their name on the following line. So, for example, if I thought the lionesses would outlast or defeat the moles, I would write lionesses on that next line. Now, a pretty significant factor to take into account is the habitat that the animals will be battling in. So if you notice the numbers next to each animal name, that is their seed or their rank in the competition in each division. So the Pride of Lionesses is ranked first. So they would have priority over the labor of moles. So whatever the home habitat of a lioness is, that's where this battle is going to take place. So some battles, the combatants are from similar locations, so it's not as big of a factor. But there have been times in the past where, like, a dolphin ends up in the middle of a rainforest on the land and just dies from that, not even because of combat. So that's what those numbers are referring to. The lower the number, the better the rank. So the lower number for the first several battles gets, they call it home habitat advantage. So you'll go through and complete all of your predictions for the first round of battles, and you can choose to do this either for each of the divisions, or if you're like me and you're doing your research and you're forgetful, I like to go through an entire division before I start the next division. So this is what I randomly chose as the winners of the first round of battles for this division. Once you've completed all of your first round predictions, you'll move on to the round 2 predictions. So in this case, the lioness would be battling the cats. And so the same rules apply. Whichever animal has the better ranking, so the lower number, the battle will take place in their home habitat. Some things to keep in mind: any injuries or modifications that happened in the previous round of battle will carry over to this round. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference, but there have been times where an animal has been injured or something's happened to it, and that affects its success in the next round. So you'll go ahead and look at those two combatants and write your predictions for them on this following line. So it follows that same pattern. So if I thought the cats would win, I would write cats on that line. And you can repeat this again for all of the round 1 victors. So you'll end up with 4 combatants left in this division. And by now you kind of get the idea, so you repeat the same process for the following 2 sections in this division. So you will end up with 1 ultimate champion from this division. Now, there are some things to take into account. For the last 3 rounds of battles, the elite trait, the final roar, and the championship battle, the locations are no longer affected by the rank of the animal. It'll be a random location that we won't know until just before the battle. So this year, the 4 potential locations for the random locations are a montane forest, a kelp forest, the savanna, or the sea ice. So in a way, you kind of just have to wing it, sometimes pun intended. For example, one of the apex predators this year is the orca. Well, the orca does very well in a marine environment, but if you plop an orca in the middle of the savanna, that's going to have a huge effect on its success. So, unfortunately, there's no way to know ahead of time. But this year, so for the elite trait, the final roar, and the championship battles, these are the 4 randomized locations. Once you finish predicting all of your battles for one division, you can move on to the next division. And you'll do the same process for all 4 divisions until you eventually have 1 champion remaining. The one thing to take note of, and I circled it here on this image, there is a wild card battle. That's the first battle of the year. It takes place on March 14th. And that is the wild card battle, and that earns them a position in that lower division. Um, but a lot of times people don't notice that it's there, so don't forget to fill that spot in. Um, if you have any questions as you're filling out your bracket, feel free to let me know. And again, you can kind of do 2 rounds with it. I typically make 2 brackets. One with research, and I go with my scientific knowledge, and the other I just kind of go with my gut and based on what I think should win. But it's all for fun, and if you need any help with researching or if you have any other questions, like I said, just let me know. Have fun!